Hello and welcome to 2024. The idea of this little video is just to go through some of my community tab questions to see what ones you got right, or just to show you what goes on in community tab. I put quite a few questions in there just for your pleasure really. So here is question number one. Question number one. Here is a photograph. Do you know what bike this came from? This is a bike I restored way back in 2011. But what bike is it? Can you guess? Well, the answer was, or is the rear wheel of a Honda XBR 500. I had two of these. I restored one to totally mint condition, and wish I had it now. You could buy an XBR 500 then for about 300 quid. Now you can't. Amazing, isn't it? What a lovely bike though. Brilliant engine. Here's question two. Who did 100 mile an hour on a 125? Who was the first person to do 100 mile an hour on a 125 machine on the Isle of Man, but didn't win the race? She set the fastest lap on a 125, 100 mile an hour, but he broke down. Who was it? The options were Bill Ivy, Phil Reed, Jim Redman, or Mike Howard. Well, it's interesting because the highest scoring name on that question that I launched was Jim Redman. But the answer is Bill Ivy. Only 10% of the people that answered that got it right. Bill Ivy smashed the lap record, but I think his teammate at the time was Phil Reed, and I think he was under team orders to come second. Smashed the lap record, but come second. And I can't remember whether he broke down or whether he actually came second, but I do remember reading the book, and he weren't very happy about it. But yeah, he's got the first 100 mile an hour lap in 125 CCTT racing. Well done, Bill. The next question is, what on a motorcycle is known as a chair? Now this is for old timers really, because you know we don't see them so much nowadays, but the answer is it's a motorcycle with a sidecar. A chair is a sidecar. As you can see, there was quite a few answers to that question, but most people knew it was a sidecar. Now here's a few questions asking you what you prefer about motorcycling, or what I'm going to do. Question number one. What bike would you like to see restored? Would it be a Harley, a Ducati, a Japanese bike, or a classic bike? Well, there was a fair split, but as you can see, the classic bike was the most favoured. So obviously that's where my interests must be in order to keep you, the viewer, happy. The next question is, what season of the year do you like to ride in? Autumn, winter, spring, or summer? Well, amazingly, the answers to this question, as you can see, is spring, summer, or autumn. Fairly evenly matched. Nobody likes riding in the winter. Amazing that, because I know loads of people do ride in the winter, but the season of the year that they enjoy the most can be any of the other three. Another question to tell me what you want is, do you ride with a phone on your handlebar? As you can see from the result, most people don't, but some people do. I mean, the modern technology allows phones to be fitted to the handlebar quite easily, and so as a result most people do, but perhaps there's people out there that are my sort of generation that mate, I don't ride with the phone on the handlebar because the bloody thing will fall off and then I've lost it. Technology and me, I don't really get on with technology. I like what it does, but it don't do it for me. I wouldn't buy a new bike because it's got TFT. I don't even know what that stands for, let alone how to use it. So, nah, not a bit of me. Okay, so the next question, how old was your first bike? Was it brand new? Was it under 3 years? Was it 3 to 5 years? Or was it over 5 years? My bike was fucking 11 years old when I first got it, and that was as much as I could afford. It cost me 20 quid and it was broke, so I had to rebuild it. But hey ho, that's another story for another day. So yeah, what did we get in the comments? Well, most people, their first bike was over 5 years old. So, pretty sort of standard. Not many people had a brand new bike for their first bike. It was 12% had a brand new bike and 74% had one that was over 5 years old. Cracking. Next question. What bike is associated with the colour green? It could be Kawasaki, Honda, BMW or Harley. 98% of people said it was Kawasaki, which is correct. Kawasaki's always been synonymous with green, and 2% said BMW. Next question. What year did BMW launch the Oilhead, the 1100 GS Oilhead bike? The dates were 91, 93, 97 or 98. 42% said correctly 93, 23% said 91, 19% said 97 and 16% said 98. The correct answer was 93. Hello, so the next question is, in motorcycling, what is meant by 20 to 1? Is it how many mates you ride with, the number of times you ride in 5 months, the ratio of oil in your fuel, or the aspect ratio of a tyre? Now, we all know that is the ratio of the oil in your fuel, used on two-stroke engines in the old days, not so much now because they've got different ways of being lubricated. In the old days you had to put oil in your fuel at the petrol station. You could buy it and then you would know what ratio your machine needed. 85% of you knew that it was that, so yeah, no problem. Next question. What was Red X used for? Was it an upper cylinder lubricant, a red gasket paste, a type of spark plug, or put into the petrol in order to make flames come out of the exhaust? Well, everybody knows that Red X was put in the fuel in order to provide upper cylinder lubrication. Not to be confused with the oil that Castrol's used to supply for two-strokes, which used to smell really nice. I think it was called 2T. Castrol 2T, I fucking don't know. Next question. What size was the first Benelli 6? Was it a 756? Was it a 906? Was it a 500cc 6? Or a 1000cc triple? Well, the answer is, it was a 756. I mean, basically, the Benelli 6 was a nice bike at the time. I mean, it did have a few issues, but I mean, really, when you consider six-cylinder bike, the CBX, Honda CBX 6-cylinder had just come out, so it was pretty sort of like, you know, revolutionary for us in those days. Nice bike. 50% of you got it right, and the others, there are different percentages for the others, as you can see on the screen. The next question, what model of Honda 4 had a 4-into-1 exhaust system? 750 Honda 4 had a 4-into-1 exhaust system as standard. Was it the CB750 K2, the CB750 F1, the CB750 K6, or the CB750 K0 or KO? Only one of those has got a standard 4-into-1 exhaust system, and that was the CB750 F1. Yeah, I know, I bought one of those in 1976. Yeah, brand new. CB750 F1. All the others had 4-into-4. Beautiful exhaust, really nice exhaust. But yeah, so CB750 F1. 65% of you got that correct. The next question. Who set the lap record on the Isle of Man at 112.27 miles an hour, 20 minutes, 9.8 seconds? Strange how I know that sort of crap in it. But didn't win the race and came in 15th. I was there that day. I was at Laurel Bank. Was it Pat Hennon, Phil Reed, John Williams, or Mick Grant? But bearing in mind 112.27 miles an hour at that time was awe-inspiring. And in fact, I can remember the commentator telling us on the radio that he didn't have a chart that went up that high for speeds, so they had to work it out. 20 minutes, 9.8, and it hadn't been smashed like that for years. I think Howard had the record before, which had been held for a long time, and it was John Williams. And he was so far ahead that at the end of the last lap at Governor's Bridge, he ran out of fuel. And he had to push the bike from Governor's Bridge to the finish, and by the time he got in, he was 15th. It was a brilliant race, really was brilliant. He was miles ahead of everybody until the end. Next question. What was a reed valve used for on a motorcycle? A reed valve. It was a fairly sort of like new thing that was introduced, and it did actually change the way two-strokes rode. Was it a tyre valve? Was it an induction mechanism? Was it a cooled exhaust valve used on a racing engine? Or a noise enhancer valve used on an exhaust? Well, in actual fact, it was an induction mechanism, and it made two-stroke engines far more efficient because it kept the charge going where you wanted it to go. It was a brilliant, simple design, but brilliant. And of that, 77% of you got it right, as you can see from the the question sheet. The next question: who made? I better not say this one because it's still actually current, isn't it? I only put it on a dagger, so I ain't going to put that one in. So let's go back. The next question is, what was the UK town Selly Oak used for? Was it famous for, should I say, famous for? Did it make vinegar, chocolates, tyres, or motorcycles? Well, because this is a motorcycle channel, it's fairly obvious it made motorbikes. Yeah, the Ariel factory was based in Selly Oak, and so it was famous for making Ariel motorcycles. And out of those answers, 67% said motorcycles. So yeah, well done, motorcycles. Next question. What does ISDT stand for? ISDT. Is it International 6-Day Trial? I sometimes don't turn over. Could be. Indestructible specific data tracker. That sounds feasible, doesn't it? Infrared speed detection transmitter. Sound fairly, you know. The answer is, of course, the International 6-Day Trial, which was a fairly big thing when I was younger. I don't know if it still goes on, but it was a fairly big thing when I was younger. And out of those answers, 55% said it was International 6-Day Trial, which it was. Next question. What motorcycle make did Dave Croxford ride for? Now Dave Croxford was quite an aggressive rider, quite a good rider. I used to like watching him because he used to really sort of put his all into his riding, and it was good fun watching him. But what make did he ride for? Was it Triumph, Norton, Honda or Yamaha? The answer was Norton, and 80% of you got that correct. So yeah, he was a rider for Norton. Next question. Who took part in the Transatlantic Trophy? Fairly obvious really in the name, innit? Was it the UK and Ireland? Was it UK and America? Was it UK and Canada? Or UK and Germany? The answer is, it used to be a brilliant series of races around a few of the circuits here in England, and the Americans used to field a team, and Britain used to field a team, and then they used to race, and you get points for the places you got. It was really a brilliant series. I used to love watching it, and obviously the answer is UK and America. Pretty good. In fact, you can watch some of those races on YouTube. Some of them are fantastic. That was in the days of Sheen and Randy Mamela. So, there's a few questions. These questions appear on my community tab of this channel, and what I intend to do this year, 2024, is list a question every Monday and every Friday. So 2 a week, and then in a few months' time I'll do another video like this to run through a few of the questions that I've asked, just to sort of make it into a little bit of a boomers quiz. Well, boomers, because most of the questions will only be answered correctly by people of my age group, or will be known by people of my age group. So I hope this has been sort of mildly interesting, and yeah, see you next time. Take care. Bye.